560. Connected to node 564562. Node 3003262. Connected to node 564560.
This is K9PQ, checking in to the Watts Net a little early and testing my audio.
Good evening. Your audio sounds superb tonight. This is James WU7N, standing by for Net at the top of the hour.
Thank you, James. K9PQ, also standing by.
Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio operators that utilize digital amateur television over the airways. We do it in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to Cougar Mountain repeater, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our organization, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll see the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on.
Node 319.
Also, there's a link that will take you to YouTube where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we use the 2-meter repeater WW7STR 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our voice transmissions during the net. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Hearing none, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So far checked in by video link is Ron, KD7QKU, Bob, K9PQ, Richard, K7ITX, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. There's anybody else wishing to check in. Again, welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Let's start off with Ron, KD7QKU.
Well, I had a picture before, but I don't seem to be able to get a picture now. I don't know what happened. Okay, KD7QKU. Well, I had a picture before the net started. Let's see. One more time. That's strange. I don't know what's going on. So I sat down here and turned everything on, turned on the transmitter, and I got a picture. But right now I can't get one. So I don't know. Who knows? So anyway, I guess you can hear me. Right, Dave?
Right, Dave?
Dave, you can hear me?
You can hear me?
You can hear me? Dave?
Dave?
So, I don't know if you're hearing me or not. You didn't give me a thumbs up. So anyway, this is KD7QKU in North Dakota. And right now I can't seem to get a picture out.
I don't know what's going on. It worked fine before the net. They turned it on. Everything worked good. The gremlins have got it, I guess. So, I don't know who can hear me and who can't hear me. I can't see anybody other than Dave, and he won't respond, so I don't know what's going on. have had a cold, and it's been dragging on for more than a couple weeks, I think. My throat tried to get sore again the other night, but I felt pretty good today. So I went out this morning, and Joanne's going to be gone she's going to go to Canada.
Sent me a text message saying he could see me. Well, I'll turn the transmitter back on again. But anyway, I can't see myself. So anyway, like I say, this is Ron, KD7QKU in North Tacoma. So anyway, somebody keeps texting me in my hearing aids. It drives me nuts, but other than that, I'm fine. So, Joanne's going to be gone for a couple days. She's going up to Canada. And then I'm going to she's not going to drive her car, but she's going to drive the car over to their house and then ride with them. So I'm going to have to drive the pickup, I guess, or the Corvette, one or the other. The pickup's pretty dirty. It's been sitting out underneath a tree, so I brought it in, was going to wash it off, and, which I did, but in the process I decided, had this bucket of soapy water and a big brush, I'd do the windows, so I did the outside of the windows and hose them down. They look much better now. I do that every now and then. And then let's see, I went down and got some gas, just the usual things, and then in the afternoon, Joanne wanted to go to the grocery store, so we went to the grocery store and stocked up on a few things so that the cat won't starve to death for 2 or 3 days. And then here we are. Watched the Mariners today in baseball, and I've been enjoying the playoff games a lot. So back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks with that. Let's pick up Bob. K9PQ, Bob.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. Good evening, and good evening to everyone in the group. Ron, sorry you were dealing with a cold there. I hope it's on the mend. It sounds like it is. My COVID is very much on the mend. I turned a corner, I would say, in the last 2 days, and today I feel much better. I actually went for a little walk. I'll get to that. I'm at a new park. But I went for a little walk, and I did get tired out at some point, a little earlier than I normally would, but I think that's pretty much to be expected at this point. But I just feel quite a bit better. There's still a little bit, you might even hear it, there's a little bit of something like in my throat still, but I'm not coughing like I was. I don't feel bad like I did, and so it's a whole lot better. So yeah, as far as where I went walking, I have left Deception Pass, and I'm now at Raysar State Park. It is on Highway 20. In fact, it's right on the Skagit River, just off of Highway 20, before you get to Concrete. And I had heard of it before, but only because I have friends that live up this way. But I didn't know anything about it, and I have to say, it's really very nice. It's a very, very well-run park, probably the best of all the state parks I've stayed in so far, and I think this is number 6. It's in the best shape. There were people, get this, so that's a lot of it's paved. A lot of the sort of walkways are paved. So they've got these little golf cart kind of things, and they drive around, and they have a blower that attaches as a trailer behind it, and they're blowing the trail. They're driving down, these walkways and blowing the leaves off the walkways, and they were doing that today while because it's that time of year, we're getting leaves falling. But they're just like they're on top of things here, very much so, more than any other state park I've been to, and so pretty interesting. I expected there to be nothing really worth seeing, and it's like some of the state parks. At first, it doesn't seem very special, but it's got some really nice sort of fields, and the river itself, of course, is nice. Certain times of the year, I thought this was going to be one of the times, but apparently it's not. Certain times of the year, you'll see a lot of bald eagles. It's especially at winter, you will. And you know what? I just realized I'm going on and on, so I'm going to have more to say next time. I'll send it back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, that's good to hear everybody so far. Ron getting over his sore throat and just doing the everyday things that someone does when they're retired, as I am finding out. And Bob, I'm glad you happy with your new digs over there on the way to concrete on the Skagit River. That sounds pretty cool. And well, as for myself, I'm just having kidney treatment right now, but I'm looking forward to a trip to Sacramento and staying at the what the heck is it called? It's a nice hotel there anyway, and gonna get a rental car and drive up to Willows, where there's a racetrack, and expect to see our Datsun 510 competing against 2 to 3 dozen other 510s, or BMW and Alfa Romeo, which are similar engine to weight ratio classification. But it is a classic car race, so these are older cars, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'll see an old buddy from the neighborhood at what the heck? Trying to remember names sometimes just drives me up a wall. Something I want to say. Something sweets. But anyway, it'll be fun to see an old character from the neighborhood who me and him got in a lot of mischief when we were youngsters. I remember setting off an M80 right at the end of the basketball game at the front door of the high school gym. And then we just ran like the dickens. We never got caught. Maybe, well, no, I think it's past, it was over 50 years ago, so I don't think statute of limitations probably applies at this point. Even though I know the sheriff was hunting us down, he never did find us. So anyway, that's about all I know for this round. K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, thanks with that. Let's pick up Wade, W7ITL, W7ITL.
All right. Well, how's everybody doing? Ron, it's nice to see you back on the net. Sorry about not being able to see you at the last business meeting. I did have a lot of things going on that weekend, so I do apologize. I've been working on the house lately, so this room is completely. Let's see if I can get the tracking to work here. Let's go to. There we go. Yeah. So, as you can see, nice clean room now. Let's see if it'll. Oh, it's following me. So. All right. Well, we won't show the room today, but as you can see, it's pretty clean. I got a lot of storage bins behind me. Everything's nice and clean. It's nice to see or hear Bob about his travels and through Skagit area. That is really neat, and it sounds like the park that you were at was well managed, very clean. That's always good to hear about parks. It means it's probably a good park to go hang out and stay. And it's too bad you didn't get to see the bald eagles. Yeah, I haven't seen a bald eagle in a while, but I hear if you want to see a lot of bald eagles, you go to let me see, Alaska. That's what I've been told, and I've seen pictures of it. And they're just kind of, there's more of them, and there is the seagulls on the beach. Let's see. It's been a really nice day. I got to do some errands. I took a bunch of stuff to the Goodwill. I did a recycle run because here in Tacoma you don't get recycle at the curbside, so you have to take that to a site. Oh, yeah, Ron, I am transmitting video, and I do see myself on the video output. I think you might have a receiver issue. I know from time to time that does happen at your location, so maybe just turn off your receiver for a few minutes and then turn it back on. If that doesn't work, make sure your LNA is fully charged and you've got nice tight connections on that, and that should solve it. If it doesn't, maybe I can come over at some point here in the near future and we can do some troubleshooting, because I know you've been kind of struggling with that lately. Other than that, I will turn it back to Net Control. There's probably a lot more to talk about, but I'm going to turn it back to Net Control so other people can share. All right, this is Wade, W7ITL. Back to
W7ITL, thanks for that. Let's move on to Jim, N7QO. Jim, what say you?
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone. Okay, Dick, I can't see you, but I can imagine you anyway. Ron, yeah, your picture is really good. Dave was trying to call you while you were on there. You had a rather severe echo on your audio, but Dave was in there trying to get back with you. I guess he was covered up a little bit by all that. Anyway, it does sound like you're getting better. That's good. And we heard Joanne going to Canada. We did not get any details on that. Bob, you sound like you're improving. You're a whole lot more happy camper now, and I mean that both figuratively and literally. COVID improving. Razor State Park. Yeah, I have some friends who live in Concrete. They actually live at the airport in Concrete. So I never made it to the state park, though, so you got me there. Dick, dialysis. Yeah, I feel for you. Sacramento this weekend. I thought you were going to do that last weekend, but I guess I got my weekends off. And meeting up with an old friend who the two of you evaded capture. That's great. Funny, when I was visiting some family and friends when my brother-in-law died, whenever it was, a month ago or something like that. I ran into a friend who I haven't seen in 50 years or so, and yeah, we probably didn't get in as much trouble as you did, but he's the same old guy. I think my wife may have slapped me into better behavior, but his wife didn't. Anyway, sounds like you're going to have fun. Wade, Eagles, yeah. I have some friends who live in the Juneau area at Hawk Bay, and they could go into their patio. All they have to do is toss some food up into the air, and some eagle will grab it, like, immediately. It's amazing how, I don't know if they're just ready to grab anything that comes flying, but they certainly do. I also saw an eagle at my house, was that 3 summers ago? Anyway, it was a hot day, and I had the sprinkler going, watering some of my bushes, and there was an eagle that was just sitting on the ground next to one of my bushes, and he was just enjoying the cool water. So that was nice. So there are some eagles around here as well. They're just not as plentiful, and they're probably staying out of sight more here than in Alaska. But I guess if there's a bunch of them, then they all have to compete for food, so you're probably going to see more of them in Alaska. Anyway, good pictures tonight. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. Let's go to James, WU7N.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Standby 1 here.
Everybody else is having here tonight. Okay, so I'll be looking for a signal report after this to see if the echoing, because Ron, when you started, the echoing and feedback was really bad, and then it got kind of cleaned up a little. And then who else was next? I think it was Jim started off with a whole bunch of echoing and feedback, and then that got better too. So it'd be interesting to see. I'm going to just turn up my volume here for a second. Okay, it doesn't sound like I'm echoing and having a whole bunch of feedback and weird noises and such. Okay, well, anyway, Ron, I'm glad you're here. You're recovering from your cold. That's good news. And let's see, Bob, also, sounds like you're also feeling better. I think it's pretty normal to feel tired after something like that. I was a month after being really sick for a week, about a month before the red lines went away on the test. I'm just amazed at the number of people who have confirmed COVID, although the family down the street finally are getting better, I guess. And then the number of people who are clearly sick, but you ask them if you've taken a COVID test, no. So it's sort of like they don't want to know, because I guess if you have a cold, you can keep going to work if you put a mask on. But if you have COVID, I don't know what happens to you. So anyway, it's nice that they're putting on a mask. I'm glad to see that we're catching on to what the Asians are doing there. When you get sick, stay home or put on a mask and keep your spitty breath to yourself. That's good news. Well, let's see. Bob, I think if you're staying at a park where they blow off the paved trails, I think that's called glamping, isn't that? That's not called camping anymore. I think they have another word for that. But let me know if they're also out there on their knees buffing the plants with little brushes or anything like that. So let's see. The big adventure of the last 2 days, I take a walk every day, same route, same 4 hills. I call it my 4-hill walk. And yesterday, I walk along and suddenly I have this stabbing, incredible pain in my right ankle, just on my Achilles tendon. And I get down there right away and there's nothing there. And I get home and it's swelling up and there's a big red dot there. And I go, something stung or bit me. And I thought, well, it must be one of our many yellow jackets around here. That's the only thing I could think of. But I didn't see anything on the ground or anything. So today I went out walking, and I found the nest. And there's got to be a lesson here somewhere. Everybody's gotten along with everybody all since spring. I've been walking past this same nest. It's very close to the public sidewalk. There's no problems. Everybody's been getting along. They ignore the people ignore them. So now that I've been stung, now we're going to have to take action and eradicate the nest. So today I found an abandoned no parking sign, one of those A-frame signs off in the bushes that's been there 2 years. I put that up with a big sign on it saying, watch out for the ground hornets, and put it near the nest. And when I first put it near the nest, oh my goodness, did that ever excite them? There were just buzzing hornets all around the sign because, of course, that was something new very close to their nest. So they were excited about that. But by tonight, they had grown used to the sign. But now the fun begins. Whose job is it to get rid of the nest? So it's in a different homeowners association down the street. So I left a couple of messages there. I called what I think their management company is. Didn't hear anything back there. And so it'll be interesting to see if somebody else other than me goes out there at 2 a.m. in the morning and kills them, which is going to have to get done, I think, within the next few days. But if anybody has any ideas, as long as they got along and ignored everyone and everyone ignored them, it was fine. As soon as they turned into Hamas hornets and attacked, now we have to attack back. It's so sad. But if anyone knows any good hornet negotiating tactics, let me know, and I'm wide open to ideas. Well, this is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue, and I'm going to go ahead and turn off the OBS connection right.
WU7N, thanks with that. And this is the Western Washington.
Their Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, when it comes to hornets, you get the spray can that has about an 8-foot spray that comes out of it, and spray that on the base of the nest, and they take it inside, and they seem to take care of it. And Wade will testify for that. He had some of that up at the wasp. We're up at the repeater area, and he cleaned that out. So anyway, we're all becoming familiar with getting rid of wasps. And for me, working on the basement again, I've got about 4 boxes of stuff to go out, give to Goodwill. You know, I found the secret to that is you don't move it from one side of the basement over to the other side of the basement and let it sit there for more than 2 days. Because what happens is you go over and then you start pulling it out and then moving it back to where it was. So now I've learned that just take it, put it in the car, get it out of the house and to Goodwill, and it's gone. So anyway, that's my advice. Don't just move it from one side to the other. You'll never get rid of it. So this is Dave, KD7ZYM, and as again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. Now let's go up to Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, I turn my transmitter on. I'm talking on the radio. I don't know. I don't see anything coming back. So who knows? I haven't seen anybody else either. The only person I see is Dave on whatever it is on the computer. I have 52. I see. Oh, there's Wade. Hi, Wade. I see 52.5 on my outdoor thermometer. It cooled off this evening. And it was clouding up. Today was another beautiful day. These days have just been really pretty. So I was talking about Joanne going to Canada. So I think this might be the Canadian Thanksgiving weekend coming up. But anyway, Jenny and Richie, Joanne's niece and her husband, and their family, they own about 3 cabins up there on Shuswap Lake, which is, I don't know how far, 800 or 900 miles. And so they're going to go up Friday morning and stay there 2 or 3 days. celebrate my sister-in-law's birthday, I guess. I decided to stay home. I can't get too excited about sitting in the car for 10 hours. And then sitting in the car for 10 hours coming home. So I don't know. I guess I've never seen the place. We should have went up there when we had the motorhome. That's what we should have done. That would have been a good trip, but we never did get around to it. So anyway, I've seen the pictures. I guess that's all I need. It's going to be winter up there pretty soon. In fact, I guess they're going to get a little snow in the mountains this weekend. So that would be interesting. So I'm getting something that says main menu and then some stuff on my screen. So I don't know, maybe it's my receiver that's acting up. But anyway, they have cabins up there. They have motorcycles and snowmobiles and jet skis and boats and everything else up there. And they're solar powered a lot. And then they have one of these, what is it, that cells that, satellite communications device. They use one of those. So they get all the TV and all the games and everything up there, and they get good internet. So when Jenny's up there, she can run her business. Jenny's as I've mentioned before, she's a stewardess for Southwest Airlines, so they go all over. They were just down at Palm Springs. They were just over at Kona. They have Kona Conference. They're doing pretty good. So, let's see. I drove the Corvette. We went Saturday to the Corvette Club, and I drove it over there. We had dinner. Talked to those folks. There are a lot of gray-haired people there. There was 29 people there. There's 52 or 53 people in the club, I think. And there was, I don't know how many Corvettes, quite a few. A couple of them older than ours, and a lot of them newer than ours. Ours is a 2002. So they're going on a ride. Probably the last ride of the year. They're going to Hump Tulips, not Hump Tulips, excuse me, Hamma Hamma. So they're going to go around Hoods Canal, go to Hamma Hamma, and have lunch. I have done that. I've eaten there, I think, at the same place before. Really good food. And drink a few beers and then come home. So that'll be their outing for this week. It might be one of the last ones of the year, other than some charitable things that they do. They participate in some of the parades and donate toys to kids and stuff, so we'll probably participate in that. Let me let it drop. And then out at LeMay's, coming up, I think it's maybe November 11th, they're having what they call a sock hop, and so you pay to go there, and then you get dinner, and you get to see one of the bands is Wally and the Beavers. I don't know, Wade, if you've ever heard of Wally and the Beavers. We've seen them before. They're good. We enjoy them. They play our kind of music. And then there might be an Elvis impersonator, and I've heard him too. I've heard them all, I guess. They're good. So we're going to go out there. Oh yeah, there comes a picture. All of a sudden my picture's popping. There's somebody's picture. I got something on my screen. So that's about all. I need to wash the Corvette. I drove it in the rain here a while back, and it had a little dust on it. Now it's all dirty. So I was going to do that today, but I had to go to the grocery store instead. I might wash it tomorrow. So anyway, that's about it for now. Just trying to enjoy life over here and get well. There's the top of my head. I see the top of my head now. So I was looking down when I was either turning it on or off. Okay, well, nice to see Wade, nice to see Dave. KD7QKU, back to net.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go on to Bob, K9PQ.
Okay, well, thanks, Dave. I'm actually juggling apps here on my phone, I managed to take some notes, which I really haven't been doing since I've just been working off my phone here, but I've got a few tonight. Glamping, that's hilarious. that one did get me. That's a good one. Glamping. Yeah, that would be certainly a glamping feature. I think we can't call it glamping here because that would be the only glamping feature that you would find here. But it is, as state parks go, it's fantastic, and I find myself wondering, how do they get the budget for all of this when none of these other state parks have any budget for anything, it seems like. So very, very curious about that. Yeah, the Hornets. Well, I have to say, since you said it was some other homeowners association, my first thought is for you, just don't walk there. That's the solution. but obviously you are more of a civic-minded.
Stand by. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. We seem to have lost contact with Bob, K9PQ. Let's move on to Richard, K7ITX.
I'm going to stop.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think I just heard Bob say I'm going to stop with a big long silence. Anyway, so hopefully
Node
Bob's okay
5, 6,
he'll be able
4,
to
5,
reconfigure and
6,
get on
0
the next
connected
round.
to Node
Yeah,
4,
speaking
7,
of Hornets,
6,
well, I've had my
3,
fair
4.
share of getting stung. I remember as a kid pruning my grandma's tree, yellow jacket nest, a big one that I didn't see at the time I was
Node
in the tree
4, 7, 6,
doing my
3,
sawing,
4
and then
disconnected.
all of a sudden, there they are. They're coming right after me, and I got stung at least 20 times. And then when I had my mom's motorhome at Washougal at the Supercross event, I was smart enough to park the motorhome right on top of a black hornet's nest. I never heard of black hornets before, and I'll be damned if they started flying into the motorhome. I had the windows open. It was a hot day, and I thought they were you could just imagine when I realized they weren't horseflies. I yelled out, "These aren't flies, these are bees." And again, I got stunned about me. It was crazy. So now, obviously, I'm not allergic to them, and every now and then I get stung because I wasn't paying attention. Those can back to net control.
K7ITX, let's go over to Wade, W7ITL.
All right. Well, good evening again. Bob said he is calling it a night, so you can skip him on the next round. Richard, your audio was pretty good until the end there, so you might be getting into a coverage issue with your echo link, because it was we're hearing like every other word you were saying. But we got the gist of it. You were talking about black hornets, and never seen one of those myself. The hornets that we had at Cougar Mountain were called white-faced hornets, which are very aggressive from what I've been told. Didn't actually have any problem with them attacking me when I was taking them out. Sprayed them from quite a distance, and they didn't come after me. But they did go after Rob. They got under his shirt, and he ripped his shirt off, and he was running. So yeah, they're quite aggressive. Luckily, I have not been stung by a bee or a hornet in a very, very long time. I would say probably 25 years. The last time I got stung by one was when I was probably 13 or 14 years old. And I had leaned up against a truck, and apparently I had disturbed their nest, and they came out of the truck, and they bit me or stung me. I don't know which it was. Only one of them got me. And that's about all I could say about hornets and bees. Yeah, sometimes they'll get you, sometimes they won't. I'll just say one other story about bees, hornets. When I was very young, probably like 5 or 6 years old, I stepped into one of those wasp or hornet nests that's in the ground. I think they call it ground hornets or something. And they came out swarming, and I avoided those as well. There was a nearby stream, and I ducked into it and got under the water, and they just flew over my head. So that's my story about bees and hornets. Let's see. I think I wanted to make one more comment about Bob's camping extravaganza. I think I've been to that Razor Park once or twice. The last time I brought up my rig, if it's the same park I'm thinking of, it's up there by Concrete. And I did a POTA activation at the park, so that was pretty fun. I think I only made a few contacts though, but regardless, it was a fun experience. Unfortunately, that radio that I took up there bit the dust, so every time I think about going to that park, I think about the radio that I lost. All right, well, let's see. Yeah, and Ron, I've been seeing you every time. So I think we definitely got an issue at your station. Your audio and video are coming in crystal clear, and no stuttering, no dropouts. And so, yeah, on your next round, if you make it, I would say not use your microphone, because when you do that, I hear your audio twice in the DATV system. So, yeah, you're coming in. You don't need to use your microphone on your 2-meter. Yeah. That's about all I got for this round, guys. I'll talk to you maybe on the next round if I get to it. All right, this is W7ITL. Back to
W7ITL, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
And 7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, I heard your audio just fine, no echoes, and your video is just fine as well. sorry they got your ankle. And for the Hornets, what Dave said, use some of that handy-dandy combination wasp and hornet spray, which has an 8-foot range, and stand back. Yeah, they can be nasty. We've got some of them around my neck of the woods here as well. Ron, you were talking about an Elvis impersonator there. Wow, that makes me think of Gary. Gary's son is an Elvis impersonator. I wonder if anyone heard anything about Gary lately. I think he had some financial problems, maybe some medical problems as well. Had to drop out of our club. But, yeah, stuff like this makes me think of him. Hope he's doing okay. And, Bob, we lost your audio for a while there, but then Wade said you said you were calling it a night. So, good night. Thanks for joining us. And, Dick, yeah, black flies. I think you started off saying black flies. There are black flies which are stinging critters. I went backpacking in Canada. It's been a couple decades ago, and it was pretty bad. You want to avoid the season that the black flies are out and hungry. We were driving on our way there and to where we were going to go hiking, and there were two guys hitchhiking with backpacks, so we picked them up, and they said they were leaving because the black flies were so bad. So my friend and I thought, well, how bad could it be? So we went, and I actually had a head net to cover my face to keep the critters away. But as I'm hiking, my pack pulled my shirt out of my trousers, and my lower back was exposed. And man, I thought those critters were going to eat me alive. And I had scars around my back, just above the belt line. It was for sure, the scars were noticeable for more than 5 years. It was pretty bad. White-faced hornets, I don't know how to tell the difference between all these critters. All I know is if they bite, they're not good. I don't mind critters that pollinate, but if they're going to hurt people for no good reason whatsoever, I don't know. What Dave said, use some of that secret spray with the 8-foot range. That's my thought on that. Let's see. I was going to mention something else. I forgot what it was. Anyway, back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, let's go to James. WU7N. James, what say you?
East Bellevue. All right, sounds like my audio's coming through okay. Well, here's some more bald-faced, white-faced hornet trivia for Wade. Apparently, a bald-faced hornet and a white-faced hornet is the same insect. However, it's not a hornet. Actually, it's a yellow jacket wasp. They build large hanging paper nests, may measure up to 23 inches. I don't know if that's like circumference or length or what, but anyway. And it says they prey on flies, caterpillars, spiders, And other wasps, well, they sound like nice people to me. It's a shame we can't get along with them. But apparently they are very aggressive, and they defend nests and repeatedly sting. But it says here they also visit flowers and feed on nectar, providing some pollination. And that's true. Another type of wasp that took up residence in my neighbor's front yard, they're very gentle wasps, but they had a child, a baby, like an infant, and they just couldn't have them around, so they had to get that one eradicated. But apparently they prefer trees and shrubs where they build large paper nests, and it doesn't say anything here about the occasional building up on a communication site, but I guess that's where that's maybe their third choice for real estate. I'm not sure. It says also under building overhangs, typically at least 3 feet off the ground. So anyway, that's the story on the kind that Wade did battle with. Now I'm kind of curious to know what kind of ground-dwelling yellow jackets exactly I have down the street from me. But I was surprised. There's something like 20 or 30 species of different kinds of yellow jackets in Washington State. So anyway, I'll let you know how the battle goes by Saturday, because I have a feeling something is going to happen. It's a 2 a.m. sort of job. If you want to take out wasps and those kinds of nests, I was taught by a master gardener long ago, you do it in the middle of the night, because there's only one guard at the opening and everybody else is asleep. So you get the one guard and then you can do anything you want before they wake up. So I'll let you know. Well, looks like it's 9 minutes before the hour. This is James, WAU7N in Northeast Bellevue. Thank you all for joining the net tonight. I think this is going to be my 73. I'll hang in here to the top of the hour, and then I need to get to bed early. So let me turn it back to our net control. Dave over there in Seattle, stopping.
WU7N, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society on the WW7 ATS repeater, 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. Well, when it comes to wasps, last summer I had a hummingbird feeder out on my front porch, and all of a sudden I noticed it was encased with what I thought was wasp, and as I looked closer, I couldn't believe it. One of the wasps had gone through that little tiny opening that feeds the hummingbird, which is like about 2/8 of an inch
round, and got into the
tank and was floating around inside. I don't know how aggressively they had gotten in there. That was kind of interesting. But anyway, I didn't disturb them and let it go, and then I waited till about 2 o'clock in the morning, and there was no critters around, and then I moved the hummingbird feeder, and that took care of the problem. So anyway, but talk about getting eaten. No mosquitoes up in Alaska. Oh my gosh, I thought I had a case of measles. They're little tiny, about the size of gnats, and boy, they leave little welts all over your body. Got an encounter with that. But the worst bees, or the worst things that sting you, is down in Arizona. The African bees. Boy, they'll attack you and chase you for miles if you give them the chance. I had one encounter with them, and I guess I was lucky. They were in a swarm going by a trail that I was walking, and it was like I was getting hit by 5,000 bees all at once flying by. None of them stopped. They just kept bounced off me. They were en route to a new nest, so I was lucky with that. But anyway, there are critters out there that just have our names on them. And this is Dave, KD7ZYM. So I'm going to move it back up to Ron, KD7QKU, and we did get a picture and sound from him. Ron, let's go.
Okay, this is KD7QKU. So I'm just speaking, and the camera, I guess, is picking up my voice. I guess you can hear me, Wade, hopefully. Yeah, he's giving me a thumbs up. Okay. So yeah, I've had all kind of experience with those critters. I don't know, James, if they're in the ground, you could take some gasoline over and pour it in and light it on fire and then pile dirt on top of it about a foot thick, and that'd probably be the end of it after it burns up. I used to have a couple of boats, they called them river boats, so we could drift down the river. They were kind of pointed on both ends, and then they were sort of like a rocker. They curved up, and so you could row and the water would slide underneath the boat and we could fish, and then we had an anchor we could drop. So we'd gone over to Montana, Randy and I, and we were going to go fishing over there. We came to this river, I forget which one it was now, and all had like surgical masks on, like you're saying, and some of them had, you know, the nets over their hats and stuff, and we kind of laughed at them, but they went on down the river, and we put in, well, we realized why they had done that. It's sort of like Jim was saying, the bugs were so thick you couldn't breathe. And they would be on the water, and they would, you know, just be clouds of them on the water, and the fish would be sucking them up and eating them. So fishing wasn't so good because there was so many bugs that the fish didn't want to eat our imitation bug when they had plenty of natural bugs to eat. So, but we had a good trip. I think that was maybe the trip when we got to the bottom of the river. We went into the steakhouse, and Randy was really hungry. He's a pretty good sized guy, and he ordered a 26-ounce steak. I'd never seen one before. 26 ounce. It was bigger than the dinner plate. And then he had his baked potato and all the other stuff. I think I ordered a 12-ounce, and it was almost more than I could eat. But man, they were good steaks. If I remember right, he ate all of his. You can imagine that. 26 ounce. All right, well, it's nice to see Dave and Wade. I tell you, I'm getting kind of frustrated with this ATV because none of you guys transmit any pictures. It's disgusting. You know, James doesn't, Jim doesn't, Richard doesn't, you know, Carlos is gone, and I don't know. We call it an ATV net, but there's no ATV. And my receiver worked good for a minute or so, I don't know, and then it quit again. All of a sudden I had, you know, the waterfall and all that stuff. Right now I just have a blank screen. So I wish you guys would buy some equipment and start transmitting. It would sure be a lot more fun. All right, back to net, KD7QKU. And Dave, you should transmit, but you don't transmit either. All right, good night, KD7QKU.
I got a question, Dave.
KD7QKU, go ahead.
Okay, I was transmitting on OBS, but that's not coming out on the ATV transmitter at this time?
Oh, your picture came out fine. Video and audio, both.
Okay, thank you very much. Ron, I'm not sure why you're not seeing me then. Anyway, thank you all very much. Let's keep working at it. WU7N.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX. K7ITX, Richard, are you there? No response on Richard. Let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
All right. Well, I'll get a couple of things off before I talk because we only got about 30 seconds left to the net. I will say, Ron, there's a couple other people that are transmitting. Jim, James, Bellevue James. is transmitting video, and I see him on the DATV output, and Dave is transmitting as well. So I think maybe once we get your receiver figured out, you'll be able to see everybody. In the meantime, we could probably work on getting the iPad set up for you so you can see the stream, because we also have internet video that's rebroadcasting the RF signal that we're transmitting. So yeah, that'll help you give you a better feedback loop to know who's actually on the net. With that said, we are at the end of the net. This is Wade, W7ITL, and 73s to everybody. It was a great net.
W7ITL, thanks with that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, we'll bring the net to a close. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society broadcasting in digital amateur television in the DVB-T format as we bring our net to an end. We'd like to thank the Western WW7 ATS repeater for our voice transmissions on 147.08 with a tone of 103.5 for our nets. So, on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, KD7ZYM, terminating the net at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.
Node 3003262 disconnected. Three 19606 disconnected.